The fear of bonding, how an old love blocks your future. Tree of Life. Leave your like on our channel. Eleanor was about to marry the perfect man. But her heart still belonged to someone who left 7 years ago. This is a story about the love we refuse to release, the invisible chains that keep us bound to past relationships while sabotaging every new beginning. When Eleanor reaches her breaking point on the night before her wedding, an ancient wisdom appears to teach her the only way forward. Honor what was honor, release what is gone, and finally make room for the love standing right in front of you. A powerful fable about letting go, healing old wounds, and discovering that the river only flows forward when it acknowledges its source. If you've ever struggled to move on from a past relationship, this story is for you. Keywords: letting go of past relationships, fear of commitment, moving on from ex. Emotional healing, healing from heartbreak, past love, blocking new love, relationship anxiety. Emotional baggage, how to let go, love and loss, overcoming fear of love, self. Healing journey, inner healing wisdom stories. Emotional growth, fable for adults, inspirational story. Hashtag healing journey, hashtag letting go, hashtag emotional healing. Introduce. She stood at the altar, dressed in white, about to marry the man who loved her more than anything in the world. And yet when she closed her eyes, she saw another face. A face that had been gone for 7 years. In that moment, Eleanor realized she wasn't about to marry Thomas. She was about to betray him. Because her heart still lived in a house that had burned down long ago. And the ghost of that fire was about to destroy everything. Introduction. This is a story about love, but not the kind you might expect. This is a story about the love we refuse to release. The love that becomes a chain. The love that, in its desperate grip, poisons every new beginning we dare to dream of. Eleanor Mitchell was 34 years old when she discovered that she had been living as a prisoner in a cell she herself had built. The walls were made of memories. The bars were forged from guilt. And the lock was a promise she had made to a man who no longer existed in her life, yet occupied every corner of her heart. You see her, you speak her name. You tell her, I see you, Rose. I see your suffering. I see your love. I see the life you were denied. And I honor you. You belong to this family. You have always belonged. Eleanor closed her eyes. She pictured a young woman, 17, pregnant, terrified. Sent away by those who should have protected her. Dying alone in a cold institution, her baby torn from her arms. I see you, Rose, Eleanor whispered into the darkness. I see your suffering. I see your love. I see the life you were denied. Something shifted in her chest. The weight that had lived there for so long she had forgotten what it felt like to breathe without it, began to loosen. And I honor you, Eleanor continued, her voice growing stronger. You belong to this family. You have always belonged. Your life mattered. Your death was not your shame. It was theirs. And I am so sorry that no one came for you. The tears came again, but they were different now. They were not the tears of her depression, that shapeless, nameless grief. They were tears of mourning, real mourning. For a real person. For Rose. I carry your sadness no longer as my own, Eleanor said, but as a memory of you. I will speak your name. I will tell your story. And you will never be forgotten again. The owl made a sound. A soft, approving hoot that seemed to resonate in Eleanor's very bones. Now tell her one more thing, the owl said. Tell her, dear Rose, please look kindly on me if I choose to live fully now. Please bless me if I let go of this grief and embrace my own joy. I will carry your memory in my heart, but I will no longer carry your pain in my body. Eleanor repeated the words. And as she spoke them, she felt something extraordinary. The weight didn't just loosen, it lifted. Not completely. Not all at once, but enough. Enough to breathe. Enough to hope. Enough to believe that tomorrow might be different from today. Chapter 6. The Return. When Eleanor opened her eyes, the owl was gone. The forest was dark now, truly dark. The last light of day faded to black. But she wasn't afraid. She felt lighter than she had in years. decades, perhaps ever. She rose to her feet, her legs steady beneath her, and began to walk back toward the edge of the woods. The path that had seemed so confusing on the way in now felt clear. The trees that had loomed so ominously now seemed to bow in greeting. She emerged from the forest to find her car waiting, the moon rising full and silver above the bare branches. She drove home that night in silence. No radio, no podcasts. Just the sound of her own breath, and the hum of the engine. She thought about Rose, about her grandmother, about her mother. She thought about all the secrets families keep, the silences that echo through generations, the wounds that never heal because no one acknowledges they exist. When she arrived home, Thomas was waiting. He took one look at her face and his eyes widened. "Eleanor, what happened? You look different?" she offered. She opened her eyes. The forest was empty. The elephant was gone, as if it had never been there at all. But Eleanor knew, with absolute certainty, that everything had changed. Chapter 7. The River Runs Free. Eleanor drove back as the sun began to rise, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. She did not go to the church. She went to Thomas's hotel room. He opened the door in his rumpled pajamas, his face shifting from surprise to concern as he saw her tear-stained cheeks. "Eleanor, what happened? Are you okay?" She took his hands in hers. She looked into his eyes. And for the first time she truly saw him. Not as a safe harbor from her storm. Not as proof that she had moved on. But as Thomas. The man who had loved her patiently, faithfully, completely. The man who deserved all of her, not just the parts she had been willing to give. "I need to tell you something," she said, "about who I was before you. About why I've been so afraid." She told him everything. Daniel. The betrayal. The years of buried grief. The ghost she had been carrying into their relationship. Thomas listened without interrupting. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "Do you love me?" he asked simply. Eleanor felt the answer rise from a place that had been locked for 7 years. A place now finally open. "Yes," she said, "completely. Without reservation." For the first time with nothing standing between us. Thomas pulled her into his arms. They missed their scheduled ceremony. They married 3 months later in a small garden with only close friends and family. And when Eleanor spoke her vows, every word came from a heart that was finally fully present. The elephant teaches us that memory is not a prison unless we make it one. Every love we experience becomes part of who we are. The ones who stay and the ones who leave. The joy and the heartbreak. We cannot erase our past. We should not try. But we can give it its proper place. We can honor what was beautiful, grieve what was lost, and then with open hands, release what no longer serves us. Ebook. Fabiana coloca video legal aqui do ebook. The river only flows forward when it acknowledges its source. Thank the spring. Bless the waters that carried you this far, and then turn your face toward the sea. Because the greatest love of your life might be standing right in front of you, waiting for you to finally make room in your heart. I used to think being strong meant holding everything together. I was wrong. That is why I created You Do and Have to Carry to Belong, a short ebook that teaches you to set boundaries, receive without guilt, and reclaim your peace. Link in the description. You're allowed to rest. Thank you for walking this path with us tonight. If Eleanor's story touched something in your soul, if you recognize pieces of your own journey in her struggle, please take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Subscribe to Systemic Fables and join our community of souls seeking wisdom, healing, and transformation. Leave a comment below and tell us, what love have you been carrying that you might finally be ready to release? Remember, you are not alone in this journey. The ancient ones are always watching, and your breakthrough might be one story away. Until next time, honor your past, embrace your present, and step boldly into your future.